You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 165. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Small and Supercharged podcast. It's a solo with me, and I'm going to start by asking you a question of, do you use hashtags? If you've listened to this podcast a bit, if you follow me on social media, if you're a member of the Small and Supercharged Mastermind group, you will know I'm a bit of a hashtag fan. But today we're not going to talk about hashtags. Well, we are. The whole thing's about hashtags. But we're going to talk about how hashtags can help you to build a community online. Not just use them to get people to you, but how to use them to grow and build a community online of like-minded people who you want to hang out with, you want to share information with, you want to get to know better online. And we're going to look not just at Instagram. Oh no, we're going for it today. We're going to touch on 4 different platforms where the hashtag is popular and look at how we can use the hashtag, the power of the hashtag, might call that the name of the episode, no, probably won't, to grow a community. So the first thing is hashtags are awesome. If you don't know what they are and you've seen them and you don't know what they're on about, they're basically ways of categorising and organising content on the social media platforms that we know and love. Using hashtags well allows our content to be seen by people who don't necessarily follow us, and it also allows us to find content from people who we don't necessarily follow that is around a subject that we want to know about, contribute towards everything else. So don't think of them as just random things people put at the end of captions. They have got a really, really solid purpose. And when used properly, this can be really good for loads of reasons. Today it's all about this building the community, but they can be used for lots of different reasons too. There are different hashtags out there. They should always be relevant. Whatever you're using hashtags for, whether you are looking to gain more followers, gain more eyeballs on your content, if the hashtag is irrelevant, it's an absolute waste of time. And equally, if you're looking to build a community and you're signposting it, that you've got loads of stuff about cats and actually you're talking about horses, it's not going to be the same thing, because people who really want to look at pictures of cats and talk about cats probably not necessarily that fussed about horses because they'd have looked for those hashtags. I know, another corking example there. So you can use a hashtag to grow a community in a few different ways. You need to make sure that your hashtag is always relevant, obviously. If you are a brand, you could use a brand hashtag to grow your community. And this is where you actually encourage people to use hashtag name of your brand, allowing them to kind of categorise their content and group their content under your hashtag. Now, this is different to tagging if we're particularly on something like Instagram, because the tag will show to the brand, and if someone looks in part of your Instagram, they will see the post where others have tagged you. But the hashtag is just something they can simply click on, they can follow that hashtag, and they can look at all of the stuff going on. So if you're a brand and you're trying to grow a community around your brand on social media, do consider getting a brand hashtag sorted, which can just be your name, and encouraging the use of that. But if you do that, make sure you follow that hashtag and make sure you put the time into commenting, contributing, liking, showing some involvement there. And of course, if you're an event or if you are particularly passionate about an event, getting an awareness of their brand hashtag so you can follow that conversation, join in the chat, is also very useful. And if you are an event, again, a bit like with the brand idea, consider getting yourself that hashtag, setting that up, putting it on your marketing material, putting it on your posts, encouraging people to use that hashtag so you can find that content. That's an overall thing. But now we're going to good old Instagram. How are you going to grow a community on Instagram? Now, unlike Facebook, unlike LinkedIn, you don't have groups on Instagram. So how do you group that content together, group these people together? A hashtag is a really solid way of doing it. You can use up to 30 per post. You don't have to. I would absolutely use some. I would use any that are relevant. Make sure they're relevant, otherwise there's no point. But use them well, because they are a big old signpost on your content saying, this is what I'm talking about, this is what it's about, this is what I'm connected to, this is what lights me up. This is what I'm knowledgeable about. So don't be afraid to use these signposts, because otherwise people are trying to find you in the dark. You're not giving them the opportunity to find you and the opportunity to connect with you. So if you want to grow a community through hashtags, make sure you are signposting your content correctly. If you're not, really have a think about why not. It's got to be relevant, otherwise the value is really, really not there. And when you have got these relevant hashtags and you know what content, what people are going to be looking for those hashtags, what content you create that fits under those hashtags well, and people that you might like to connect with who could also use those hashtags, follow that hashtag on Instagram. Follow it, because then that will be integrated into your main feed and you will see posts appearing from people that you do not follow, but people who are using those hashtags that you have followed. This is a great way to find new people, to find new experts, to find new people who share that passion with you. And what this then allows you to do, this is the next step, is it allows you to engage with these people, because a community is when people work together, when people communicate, network, speak to each other. It's not one person being the oracle and everybody just kind of falling to their knees underneath them. It is a group effort. So when you see these posts in your feed, when you follow these key hashtags, if you like the post, if you think, oh, that's really interesting, if you've read the post, if it's a gorgeous picture, please comment on it. A genuine, authentic, real comment. If you don't like it, fine, absolutely fine. Don't leave that comment. Nothing I'm talking about here today is encouraging you to be anything bar completely 100% authentic. But if you see these posts and you think, God, that's really cool, that's a really nice picture, that's a really good point, comment. Comment on it. Because not only are you then commenting, you're engaging with that person's content, and we all know how nice it feels when people engage with our content, so you'll give them a little bit of a buzz. You've also got the opportunity to then follow them if you want to. You don't have to. They've got the opportunity to talk back to you, and you are then featuring on their content the other people who maybe they follow that person with the like-minded hashtag, maybe they follow the hashtag and they found that person like you have. And you can start to grow this community beyond just that one person if you're authentic and if you're leaving the right sorts of comments. But don't be afraid to take that really positive action, because so often I'm as guilty of this too, is we see nice posts, we see nice content, and we kind of nod and smile in our head and go, that's really cool, yeah, love that photo. Oh, haven't they done well today? Oh, I know they were really suffering with their confidence, they're doing really well now, that's really awesome, so inspiring. And we keep this in our heads, which is lovely because that content has affected us in a really positive way. But from that person's point of view, they don't know that. They don't know that they've had this positive effect on us. And more than that, we're not allowing them the opportunity to actually communicate with us, to talk to us, because they don't know that we exist. They don't know that we agree that we're thinking the same. And it also doesn't allow other people who have found that content to engage with us and to learn more about us there. So follow them, follow those hashtags, and engage with the content posted on them. You can use hashtags in stories, but what that will do nowadays is it will, if you tap on it, it will take you to that kind of hashtag page where the normal posts using that hashtag are. It used to be that when you clicked through to Instagram, that you had it so there was almost a hashtag story. So when you clicked on a hashtag, you would whiz off to a page on Instagram, and the little circle with an image in on the top left would be a story of other people that had used those hashtags. Now, it might just be mine, I doubt it, but I'm not seeing much of that anymore. I'm not seeing any of that anymore. But what I am seeing is a top and a recent, and I've just like normal, but these are posts. I've got some reels in there. I've got lots of static image posts in there, and that's what I'm seeing instead. So it's not a case necessarily that I'm seeing videos, seeing all of the things, but I'm not seeing people's stories. So you can use that, and you can tap on a hashtag in someone's story to go, oh yeah, actually that's really cool. And then you can go and look at these longer term grid or reels posts or whatever that you can then go and engage with. But it doesn't quite work the same way as it used to, which is a bit of a shame in my opinion. But that's how you can help to start building and growing a community on Instagram. The thing about a community as well is that as a member of a community, you do have to put in the work. It's like a friendship group. To make it work, everyone has to put in the work. So if you want to grow this community, you want to build this following, whether you're building it from a brand point of view or a personal brand. When I say brand, I mean more of like a business point of view, a commercial point of view, or a personal brand point of view, which could also be commercial, clearly. You need to put in the work. You need to be not just doing this once and then going, well, I'm done. Look at these hashtags regularly. Check into these hashtags regularly. Put comments on these hashtags regularly. Comment on other people's stuff. You need to be doing that in order to help grow this community and foster this really positive relationship with these different people. Moving over to Twitter, hashtags work on Twitter. I kind of feel like Twitter was the home of the hashtag. That might just be me, but that's where I feel it all started. You can't have as many on Twitter. Well, you get a 280 character limit for a tweet. You don't want it to be full of hashtags because it looks really spammy. Whereas with Instagram, we can put some line breaks in, we can pop it in the first comment. We can't really do that on Twitter. So really they suggest a maximum of about 3. Make them more relevant. But as with Instagram, search for these hashtags. Look at people who have tweeted using these hashtags. And if relevant, like the tweets, comment on the tweets, engage with the tweets, follow the people. It's the same thing. I think because Twitter moves so quickly, it's something that you probably need to do more often and more regularly. But again, find these really good hashtags that absolutely work for you and visit them regularly. Visit them, comment on them, engage with them, get involved in that chat. The thing I really remember about Twitter, well, I still have got Twitter, but the thing that I really love about it particularly is when there is like an event going on or even a TV series. I remember a good few years ago, the Great British Bake Off. I can't remember the hashtag for that, but it was the final and I was watching the final and on Twitter it was a live with people who were like commenting and chatting and it was part of, I felt like even though I would think I was watching it on my own, don't get the violins out, it's completely fine, but it was really cool because I could see what other people were saying, I could get involved with the conversation and I could use that hashtag for my posts that were connected to that and then other people commented on my post, so a bit like a conversation. Exactly like a conversation, actually. That was really cool and that was really lovely to be part of that community. That's perhaps more of a shorter term community because it was when that programme was on and particularly during the final, I think it was, but it was still a really awesome way to connect with people who had got a similar passion and similar passions to me. They liked watching the Bake Off. Blooming love the Bake Off. I wonder when that's back on. But it was really lovely and a really positive way, I think, of using a hashtag. Now on Facebook, hashtags are quite interesting. They do work. I think they've really revamped the hashtag fairly recently and I've now started using them particularly in groups. So obviously a group is a great online community on Facebook. So you've got that already. And I know I've done various podcasts on groups. So that's a great way to create a community by literally having a group and saying, this is my community. If you'd like to be part of it, join it. This is part of you, united around a common theme or desire. But I think that hashtags are particularly good on Facebook because you can categorise your content. I really enjoy using them in groups. I use a mastermind on various content. Friday Lives, I've got a hashtag, Mindset Masterclass will have one, Marketing Masterclass has one, to allow people inside the community to find the content that they want in a easy way. But they do also work just as a general search using a hashtag. However, you'll also find that just a term works, but you'll probably get different results for both. So because hashtags aren't as popular on Facebook as all other platforms, if you typed in, I don't know, hashtag social media, that isn't necessarily, I mean, it depends on the user, as it does with all the other platforms. But I think because the hashtag is more widely acceptable or widely used on places like Instagram and Twitter, you would expect them to have kind of signposted that content. Whereas on Facebook, maybe not so much. But some do, and it could be a nice way to find people that you want to follow, that you want to engage with, that you want to interact with, who have used that hashtag. I think because of the way Facebook works, it is perhaps more challenging to create a community or feel like you're part of a community via the hashtag, because groups really do that incredibly well. And because if you're commenting on a brand's page feed, it doesn't feel quite the same, in my opinion, as if you're tweeting someone and they're tweeting back, or you're commenting on someone's Instagram post. But still, it can be a really good way to find like-minded people, to find people with that shared passion that you might like to follow. If you follow them, they might have a connected group, so you could actually get involved in a community that way. It's not quite the same, but I think it does kind of do a similar thing. And then the last one we're going to talk about today is LinkedIn, because hashtags work on LinkedIn and they make your content more discoverable, as with all of the other platforms, and discoverable to people that don't follow you. That's the key bit here. It's discoverable to people that don't follow you or aren't connected with you on whatever platform you use. Now, as per other platforms, you can also follow hashtags, and this allows you to, again, like with other platforms, see who's using that hashtag, to get involved with that conversation, to comment on that conversation, to engage and connect with that person. And this could be a bigger thing because, again, people are seeing you comment, people can then engage with your comment. You might find groups of people who have got passions around specific hashtags. There's things you can do to help create and grow your community, and whether this is that they're all in a group together like with Facebook, or whether it's just your wider work community, your wider contacts, by using the hashtag not just to say this is what I'm talking about, but to say, oh, I found you because we're talking about similar things, is lovely. And yes, you are making those individual one-to-one connections, absolutely, but it's the individuals that make up a community. It's not, it's the individuals. Even in a bigger community, you'll see there are people that you particularly gel with, particularly resonate with, and want to spend time, want to share ideas with, and others that you won't. And that's fine, that's just life. But if you can use something like a hashtag to find people who aren't necessarily in your circles as yet, but could be really, really lovely to connect with and to be part of your online community, that's a really valuable thing to do. Well, I think so anyway. So yeah, how to use hashtags to grow a community. And this is really your personal community, the community of people that you like seeing what they're getting up to, and that you want people to find you to see what you're getting up to. The thing to remember with all of this, though, is to be authentic and genuine with your interactions. I know we're talking about if you comment on someone's feed, someone else might see you and they might connect with you, and that is absolutely the truth. And that is great, but that shouldn't be the primary reason why you're doing the action. That should be a happy side effect. The primary reason should be that you are enjoying their content, that you want to contribute to what they're saying, you want to engage with them directly. The other stuff is a happy side benefit. So it's important that those interactions are genuine and authentic and honest. Otherwise, the results are going to be limited. And more than that, the person that you're interacting with will see that you're being a bit spammy, potentially, not massively authentic or genuine, and that won't look good for you. And we want to form these positive connections, to form a positive community, to make social media a really nice place to be, because you do so regularly see people who are really at their wits' end with it. And it always makes me really sad, firstly because I'm a social media geek and I think the power it has is absolutely awesome, but because I often think, is it your kind of friendship group, your community, that's not helping you with this? And the thing is, with social, our communities can be huge, and we can't necessarily vet everyone that tries to join our community. Really, just not practical. But we can make sure that ours is a good one, that the people that we choose to interact with are our people. So I hope that's helped. I hope you'll be embracing hashtags as a way to help grow your online community and find awesome people to chat with, hang out with, interact with, collaborate with, and all of those positive things that social media is simply awesome at. If you need any social media help or support, or you want to grow your brand online and you need a bit of expertise, do have a look at the Small and Supercharged Mastermind group. This is my online membership group. Each month we have a marketing masterclass, a mindset masterclass, a social media critique for one member, loads of lives that you can dip in and out of, and plenty of opportunities too. And the community over there is pretty awesome as well. If you hop over to my website, riafreemanpr.co.uk, there's a mastermind tab at the top, or feel free to DM me. I'm at riafreemanpr over on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a great day, and we'll catch up really, really soon. Take care.